All right, so I'm going to talk about keys for success for South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers and what he has to do, the type of game he has to play for South Carolina to pull off the upset. As of now, I think Bama is a 3-touchdown favorite, depending on where you're looking at the line. But I think it started at like 20.5. Now it's at 21 right now. So we're going to talk about Sellers and talk about the keys for success. Then we're going to look here in like 2 or 3 minutes. We'll put on some film and look at some clips of what Vandy was able to do against Alabama, and then how Sellers can potentially imitate that and copy that, even though Bama's going to be trying to fix those issues. But that's still a good blueprint that you have to go off of. So we're going to look at some clips of the Vandy game against Bama, how they had success, and look at a few clips of Sellers and the type of plays that I think he's going to have to make to beat and upset Alabama. So the main theme, if I'm looking at Sellers and trying to paint some broad pictures, is he's going to have the best game of his life so far. I don't think that's a stretch to say. I think that's pretty obvious. You're going to have to follow the Vandy script. And I think if you're Sellers, all the good traits that you've shown so far this season, like the fast start against LSU, how you ended the game against Kentucky and made some nice vertical throws, it's all going to have to be put together for a full game. You're going to have to repeat multiple good plays to beat Alabama, right? So the start against LSU was a fast start. You saw a long rushing touchdown. You saw some good passing throws. You saw he was on time, and they jumped off to a 17-0 lead against LSU. And then how they were able to finish Kentucky. You want to combine those two type of plays. And the last key, before we talk about some personal keys for him, is you're going to have to choose some clock like Vandy did. I don't have the exact time of possessions in front of me, but Vandy had the ball 10 more minutes or more, I think, than Alabama had, and Alabama's lost, right? So with that said, 3 main keys for LaNorris Sellers. Number 1, you're going to have to hit on a few vertical throws. Now, it doesn't have to be some deep balls. It doesn't have to be 30, 40 yards, but I would like, a few 15 to 20-yard type throws downfield so Bama's defense doesn't creep up. It's going to expand the playbook. You can't just dink and dunk and beat Alabama. We saw Vandy do some dinking and dunking, but we saw him push the ball downfield that ultimately allowed them to win the game. Key number 2, you're going to have to use your legs as a runner. Pavia ran the ball last week against Bama. If you're Sellers, and again, I don't know how healthy he is with the ankle, so Sellers or even getting Ashford in for some of the run game, but regardless, you're going to have to use your legs as a runner to beat Alabama and have some explosive plays. Like the 75-yard touchdown run against LSU. That would be huge, right? You're going to have some explosive plays on the ground. The key, number 3, you have to improvise and make plays. When plays break down, you have to use your legs to buy time, roll out, and make big plays like Pavia did against Alabama, right? So hit vertical throws, use your legs as a runner, and improvise when the play breaks down. So let's go ahead and watch a few clips of Vandy and what they were able to do and how they were able to have success against Alabama. Then we'll watch a few clips of Sellers. And this is your first time tuning in. We're a big SEC quarterback hub. We talk all things SEC quarterback. So if you like that type of niche, please consider following us along and subscribing. So with that said, let's go ahead and look at some of the film. It's broadcast footage, by the way, so I have to slow it down. I do apologize, but it does a good job still getting the point across. All right, so we're going to look at 3 clips of Diego Pavia showing 3 different ways he had success against Alabama's defense, and look at 3 clips of Sellers showing similar plays and what he will need to do repeatedly to pull the upset off against Alabama. So key number 1 is you're going to have to hit on some vertical throws. It doesn't have to be a 40-something yard bomb like this play is here, but I think you're going to have a few, 15, 20-yard throws where the ball is thrown 15-plus yards in the air to keep Bama's defense from creeping in. Now, you see Bama's defense on this clip. They're within the line of scrimmage. They have, probably 7, 8 guys a few yards within the line of scrimmage because it's a 4th and 1. But they're probably going to play a similar defense, I would imagine, against South Carolina just to stop the run until Sellers and South Carolina can prove they can push the ball downfield and hit on some vertical throws. So I think this is important to open up the rest of the offense. So key number 1, to beat Alabama, I really think you're going to have to hit on a few vertical throws. It doesn't have to be the center of the game plan, but I think it needs to be a priority to at least hit on a few to open up the rest of the offense, right? And that of course goes hand in hand with no turnovers, controlling the clock, all that stuff, of course, is evident. But we're talking about real specific keys for Sellers. So key number 2, something Pavia did several times, was improvise. Use his legs to buy time, maneuver in the pocket, and create when nothing was there. So here's a quick example, and there are several plays that Pavia did against Bama. But you see he escapes the pocket here, doesn't like what he sees standing in the pocket, escapes it, and is able to make a first down throw. Sellers is probably going to have several of these type of plays to beat Alabama. Again, we're going to show clips of Sellers, but here's Pavia showing that clip. And the last key for Sellers, or Ashford if they use 2 quarterback systems, and depending on how healthy Sellers is. But I think using his legs as a runner is going to be huge. Like that 75-yard touchdown run against LSU, which we're going to show in a second. I think he's going to have some success as a runner, especially if they're able to shut down their main running game. I think Bama's front 7 is a lot better than their back 4. So if you get the run game going as a quarterback, that can potentially take some pressure and put them on the front 7. So here's Pavia with the first down run. Okay, so let's look at Sellers. First clip we're going to watch is him throwing a touchdown pass against Kentucky. This was middle to end-ish of the third quarter, and he had several nice throws on this drive. We're actually going to watch another clip from this drive. It's a fake sweep, push the ball downfield. Again, 16-yard strike, touchdown in the air. Like we talked about, it doesn't have to be a 40-something yard bomb, but hitting on several of these throws where you're threatening the vertical pass, I think it's key, right? So ends up being a nice throw. That's going to open up the run game too. It's going to open up so many underneath type plays. All right, key number 2, you're going to have to improvise. Like we talked about, like we just showed Pavia improvising, throwing the run. Here is Sellers. Kentucky's blitzing. I'll move myself out of the way. Kentucky blitzes. Sellers able to escape the pocket. There's a wide open receiver, some type of coverage bust downfield. Sellers able to hit for a nice throw. Am I going to get in the way again? Let me move myself. I'm sorry, guys. So nice job by Sellers here, right? Again, key number 2, improvise, make plays when things break down. You're gonna have to make several plays like this, I think, to beat Bama. And then key number 3, we're gonna watch the LSU clip where he has his 75 or whatever. Is it 75? Yeah, 75-yard touchdown run for Sellers. So whether this is Sellers or Ashford, I think the quarterback run game is going to have to be effective to beat Alabama. It doesn't have to be 75-yard runs. That's starting to be nice. That's a great move by Sellers. It would certainly be nice for that to happen. But I think it's going to have to be consistent. There's going to have to be a threat there. And that threat, not just the threat of the running back getting going, but the threat of the quarterback running, I think can help open up some passes downfield. Again, it's going to take a perfect game from Sellers and the whole team. And obviously it's a team game. It's going to take more than just a quarterback playing well, but we're a quarterback channel, so we're just kind of talking from the quarterback perspective here. But if you're a South Carolina fan, let us know your thoughts of, one, what do you think the keys are for Sellers to upset them? Again, we talked about you got to chew clock, you got to follow the Vandy style essentially, and you got to put together the start against LSU and the end against Kentucky, kind of marry those performances and do it for the full game. That's how we think that there's a potential key to, or a potential way to pull off the upset. Use your legs as a runner, use your legs to escape pressure, and then push the ball downfield are our main keys for Sellers. But again, South Carolina fans, let us know your thoughts in the comments below, what you think the keys are. And if you haven't seen this channel before, we're a big SEC quarterback hub. We talk all things SEC quarterbacks. We do spend a lot of time breaking down Sellers in South Carolina. So if you like that type of content, please consider subscribing, liking the video, sharing, all that fun stuff. It does help us grow. Thanks for watching, following us along. We'll see you next time. Peace.